Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner, and joining me today as my guest is Shannon Moore, and she's the Director of the Office of Sustainability and Environmental Resources. Welcome, Shannon.
Thanks for having me.
I'm always happy to have you. I love all the work that you do. You run a great division, and so I'm excited that should the county budget pass, that we will have the Office of Sustainability back reporting under the County Executive's Office, and I hope to add some new energy so that we can go beyond what some of our grant programs allow us to do and make some progress in making Frederick County environmentally sustainable.
Wonderful.
So why don't you start off by just giving our viewing audience a little bit of an idea about what kind of work your office does?
Our office is heavily involved in delivering programs to citizens. So sustainability and environmental programs include things like energy management programs. We have a solar cooperative that we're running where we get bulk rates for citizens who want to invest in solar for their homes. We do a lot of energy management work with the county. We help the county to track its energy usage and the effectiveness of programs that it does to reduce its energy consumption and save money. We also have a number of programs designed for energy efficiency. We get grants from the from MEA, the Maryland Energy Administration, and those help the county to do things like invest in electric buses. So we've been very excited about that project. Lighting projects that we've done with the Division of Public Works. So our hands are in a lot of different things energy related. And then we also have a number of environmental programs. So for example, we're about to kick off a new program called Creek Relief, where citizens can apply to have trees planted on their properties at no cost to them. And that program has an open enrollment between now and the end of May.
Okay.
And then we also have other programs like Neighborhood Green, where citizens can do stormwater management on their homes, and we show them how, and we help them with financial incentives. Power Saver retrofits, where we help citizens to be able to do energy efficiency work in their home, and we actually provide funding for low to moderate income households to do that kind of work. So we have some very targeted, direct initiatives where we coordinate with the public, and then we also have a kind of a broader strategic role within the community where we help to do planning for energy resources and sustainability.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Now, if people are interested in any of these programs, how can they find out more about them? Because they all have their requirements.
That's true. So the easiest way to find them is to go to sustainablefrederickcounty.org or to go to Sustainable Frederick on Facebook. And all of our programs are listed there. We also have something called the Green Homes Challenge. Mm-hmm. So if you go to frederickgreenchallenge.org, you'll see an entire certification process that we've built for households so that they can do the kinds of things that I've talked about.
Well, one of the great things about sustainability is not only does it save the environment, it can save you money. If you reduce your energy consumption, obviously it saves you money. And so I think that it has all kinds of benefits for individuals, and it really helps our community and our world. One of the new and exciting grants and programs that you have is the new reforestation program.
Yes.
So I believe it's called Relief.
Yes.
And so can you talk a little bit more about how that works? Because I know there's a conservation easement involved, mm-hmm. and you know, how people can voluntarily participate.
So the county has requirements that it has to meet through the Clean Water Act to reduce pollution and to make it so that water bodies aren't impaired. And we have some water bodies in Frederick County that are impaired for nutrients, sediment, and E. coli. And so these programs are very important to help remediate those kinds of problems. The way that the program works is that if you have 2 acres or greater that need reforestation, this is a big tree planting program. We have other ones that are for smaller areas, but this one specifically is to do large-scale reforestation. So we will work with you to survey the property, to figure out the amount of area that could be put under an easement for trees. We'll plant the trees, and then we will maintain them for 5 years, and we will pay for the easement. It's still cheaper than a lot of other practices that we could do for stormwater, but then it also provides a direct benefit to citizens. So it's kind of a win-win for us.
And that's really targeted towards larger property owners?
This particular one is, yeah. So we have other programs like Neighborhood Green that are for smaller. We also partner with DNR on their backyard buffers program that's for smaller properties. But this one is specifically designed to recreate forest conditions.
Okay. Well, that's a good program, because people look at trees for beautification, but they don't always recognize the environmental impacts that trees can have on improving water quality, providing shade for streams, and for really helping the environment too. So again, I think we get a double bang for the buck there. So what about the solar co-op? Can you talk a little bit more about somebody just wanting to sign up for that? Do they have to do more?
Not up front, no, and that enrollment also goes until the end of May. That's a partnership that we're doing with MD Sun, which is a nonprofit, and it's a way for us to, we did basically a bulk purchase. So citizens can get like wholesale rates on their solar purchases. So they would save up to, say, 20% off of a normal solar installation. So that's a great deal for them, because we were able to bundle a whole lot of installments together. And so that one's an easy one to apply to too. You would just have to go to MD Sun and look for the Frederick Solar Cooperative.
Okay, so that's a very easy thing to do.
Yeah, and in order to get an estimate, you don't have to pay anything. The solar installer can come out and they'll look at your house and the angles and make sure that it's appropriate, and then they'll give you a quote. And then you can choose whether or not to participate after that.
Okay. So many of these programs are tied with our stormwater obligations to that we have a permit for. I don't want to get too technical and talk about our, most environmentally acceptable practices for our MS4 permit, but we do have to comply with it. And some of these are related to that, and some of these aren't. So can you talk a little bit more about the objectives of our permit?
Right. So the permit, it's designed to reduce stormwater. And stormwater causes a number of problems. It causes flooding, it picks up pollution, it causes erosion, and it can cause risk to human life, and then also damage to streams. And so whatever lives in the streams. So obviously we have a vested interest in reducing that kind of pollution. The programs that we run, we have a technical side that we know about in-house, that they're reducing X pounds of this type of pollution and Y tons of that kind of pollution, and they're getting this close to meeting our, benchmarks. But on the public side, we really just kind of present them as initiatives for the public to be able to access that, help to benefit them and their properties and their lives. So we try to make them serve a dual purpose. But I'm always, I'm kind of a nerd, so I'm always tracking the stuff behind the scenes.
Right.
So for example, our Green Homes Challenge, if you do, if you do porous paver on your property and you tell us that you did it, well, that's great. You get a couple points towards your challenge. But internally, I'm like, that reduces X% of this amount of pollution.
So you count it into the pollution tonnage reduction.
Yeah, exactly. So we're killing multiple birds with one stone, right? So that's kind of how we do it. But the county has an obligation to do that. It's a requirement of the Clean Water Act, and we have these permits from the State Department of the Environment that require us to do these things. And so the trick is to do them in a way that's the most meaningful and really serves the public and meets the goals.
Now, one of the ways you try to engage the public is through the Sustainability Commission, which is a group of citizens who have various backgrounds and have volunteered to serve. So you can talk a little bit about the work of the commission and what their purpose is?
Yeah, so they're a fantastic group. They're designed basically to be able to provide guidance to the county government on the actions that it takes that are sustainability related. And we have experts that are all volunteers from the community. So the former assistant director of DNR and the head of the Electric Vehicle Association for Greater DC, and installers who do homeowner energy efficiency work, and a whole spectrum of businesses and services that these people that they run. they're helping us to learn how we can do a better job of being more sustainable at the county government. So they have a couple of really neat programs they're doing. One, they're doing an environmentally preferential purchasing program. That's a lot of P's, but anyway, so they're looking at ways that we can enhance our procurement so that we can do more bulk purchasing, we can buy more environmentally friendly products, and basically move in the direction of the things that are good for the environment, but that also will save us money. So that's one thing that they're doing. They also have done some outreach and education events. They did a big one with the schools not that long ago, very well attended and successful, where they were bringing in different organizations with services to provide to schools that were interested in becoming green schools and having that kind of focus. And I'm sure you just saw that Myersville just certified as a green
Myersville
school.
Elementary School. So my question when I see that is congratulations to Myersville Elementary School.
Exactly.
But how do we get more schools to do the same?
Right. And so I envision that the Sustainability Commission could help have a role in that. They have a lot of expertise and resources. And then they've also helped to review proposals like the large-scale solar proposal that went through recently for the agricultural zones. They reviewed that. They gave their feedback on that. And several of them actually are solar professionals. So so they're able to give a lot of basically free consulting
Expertise.
support. Exactly.
That's right. We are fortunate to have a lot of people in our community that can provide input on a whole wealth of topics
That's really
and
great.
help us meet these goals. Well, if you had one message for people on how they could do something to become more sustainable, what would it be?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. One thing, I would say think about the future, because that's what sustainability is really about. When we talk about, the 3 pillars of sustainability being the environment and economy and people, and how all these things play together, what we're really talking about is making a better future for everyone, making sure that we have the resources in place for the future, that our brook trout are still there, and that our forests still support water quality, and that we're profitable, and that we have, we have good services for citizens. So I always try when I set up new programs to make sure that they're really focused on what we're going to need, not just today, but also
Long term.
exactly.
Okay. I think that was a great answer, Shannon.
Well, thanks.
So
You put me on the spot. I did
I
my
did.
best. I did my best.
you always do a great job. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope people will go to your webpage or your Facebook page to find out how they can participate in one of these many programs. So thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I hope you learned a little bit about what the county government is doing to support environmental sustainability in Frederick County.